Welcome to the Endurance Show's Healing Together New Year's mini-series. 4 short episodes designed to help you build more connection and resilience as we head into 2026. If you've been craving support, language for hard moments, or simple tools to feel closer to the people you love, you're in the right place. This series is made possible by our nonprofit, the Endurance Movement. This month, we're looking for 100 people to stand with us in support of Teen Voices, a program featuring real teens sharing honest, unfiltered stories about mental health. Many in our community choose to support this work with a $25 monthly gift, helping ensure these conversations continue for teens and families who need them. If this work resonates with you, we'd love for you to come join us. You'll find a link in the show notes below. Thank you for being here.
Welcome back to the Endurance Show. This is our mini-series transitioning from season 1 to season 2. And today, Neal and I, Samara, your host, will be talking about letting go and what we don't need to carry into this new year. Today, we are going to explore release, letting go of what weighs us down. So we'll share about some of our learnings from last year, what we learned, and the freedom available when we stop carrying it alone.
Yeah, and I think the biggest distinction is everybody is carrying something alone. I remember hearing this in my previous life, like, oh, you don't know what someone's going through and you have no idea what someone's going through. And now I'm intimately aware that there are so many out there who are going through things much like we are, and that everyone's going through something, whether it's obvious or not.
I think especially with grief, there's no sign that we wear. Yes, there's the tradition of wearing black maybe for the first year, but lots of people wear black that aren't actively grieving or mourning. And it's invisible. We don't know when someone is going through a really tough time or not. So I think it's easier and maybe a little bit more of a universal, loving, empathetic way to approach to just assume that everyone is going through something. And that allows me to feel like I'm not alone. Maybe not everyone has had a child in their life die by suicide, but everyone has some kind of struggles or challenges.
Yeah. And so one of the first ones that we wanted to address was the carrying guilt or shame, especially in a loss like ours of suicide, where me feel like I could have done something. There must have been something I could do. That guilt was debilitating early on, and the shame that I felt about not doing the number one rule of any parent to protect your child. And I just want to share that is heavy. And for me, I was really grateful for all of the love and the community that we felt, the love and support. And for me, I'm an immersive guy. I need immersion, and I was grateful to go to Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within and work through that guilt, that shame, and to let that go, and to know and understand that that's a story. And if I continue to live that story, I will be in the corner in the fetal position suffering. But if I can create a new story that says I did everything I possibly could and made every decision I possibly could out of love, now it's opened the opportunity for the purpose to transcend that pain and to move into something else. So if you're experiencing grief, if you're experiencing guilt or shame, know it, name it, it's true. And wherever you need to get help, that's a hard one to hold on to.
Yeah. And I think in this past year, one of the themes that came up a lot in different folks that reached out to us who had lost someone in their life to suicide. It was, my dad, my brother, my spouse, whomever, someone that I, was close to, my wife died by suicide, but we didn't talk about it. And I think coming forth and talking about it and acknowledging that pain and that heaviness, that allows the process of letting go to begin. It really doesn't happen without facing it, facing our fear, facing our shame. That is really how we begin to transform and to heal, is by acknowledging and being real about it, and talking about it, and sharing about it with others. And I have said many times, and I'm really feeling the strength in the opportunity to speak about suicide and how it's impacted my life, and in offering my story and what we've gone through as a family and as a community. I believe that invites others who are experiencing that type of pain or ideation to come forth and to know that you're not alone and there are people that are here for you and that want to help you. So acknowledging, I think, is really the first step in the letting go process.
Yes. Another area that found very difficult during this time is parenting, simultaneously caring and holding grief while knowing that you need to show up for your child. And it's been quite a journey, especially as we pour our hearts and soul into the Endurant movement. And no matter how much we hear and understand that you've got to focus on the sibling, that the sibling pain and trauma is real, and you feel like you're doing your best, this idea of parenting through grief is pretty challenging. Wow. We ought to keep that. That's kind of fun. Because remember, we were talking about in the last episode about playfully carrying through. And when stuff is heavy like this and we're fighting our way, nothing is more fun than a humor pattern in a rep. Definitely keep that.
Yeah. Parenting is hard.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
yeah.
give yourself some grace. If you need to, if you're struggling with your child, take some deep breaths, step outside. And like we were sharing in that other episode, just saying to them, hey, I don't know where that came from. This is hard for me. I'd like to start over. Let me try again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, letting go again begins with acknowledging the real weight that we carry, whether that's guilt, shame, the difficulty of having to continue on with life, whether that's a child or your job or whatever it may be.
Yeah. And then letting go in a loving and compassionate way, creating the space for our loved ones, those we're in relationship with, ourselves, to have the feelings that we feel, and just being able to let go in a loving and compassionate way, gentleness is a key for me.
And I feel like another one that's really come up for us is expectations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think when we set expectations, or when we have unspoken expectations, it just sets us up for more challenge. And I can think of a number of examples when I'm expecting myself to show up in a certain way. This is how I'm used to operating. I go to the gym, I achieve, I do these things. And in this past year, I've found I don't always have all that energy. And maybe I'm at the gym and I'm not, lifting to the level I was, or performing at the athletic level that I was at. But I expect it to be that way. And it's hard. It's hard to see that. And I find in the acceptance and the acknowledgement of that, oh, okay, that's hard. I'm used to operating at this peak level, and I don't have that type of energy right now or today or, in this moment, in this workout. And to be gentle with myself, that translates out into my ability to then be gentle with those around me. I think it also serves as a good example for people to stop being so hard on themselves. So expectations of myself, where maybe I didn't show up in the way that I thought I was going to. I mean, at the gym is one example I can think of, but also in relationship, expecting my partner to show up in a certain way, and when he's not, um, you know, how do I feel about that? That's hard, and I can articulate that. I need to articulate that, maybe not in a way to add pressure or blame or shame, but just, hey, I'm tired too. I was hoping you might do the dishes tonight. But then it invites opportunity for communication, right? I think that's something that we've come back to a lot is, being able to, like we were saying before, understand where you're feeling, acknowledge that, and then, go from there.
Yeah. And I think just tying off on expectations, what I'm struck with about what you're sharing here is also unconscious expectations. So for myself, when I'm hurting or emotional, it's pretty obvious. It's pretty outward. For you, like you were sharing levels of exercise, fitness, how you're showing up and everything. And so I'm kind of like conditioned to, like unconsciously acting as if Samara is doing great. And so tied with that unconsciousness is, I don't know if expectation's the right word, but tied into that is she must not be struggling.
Mm.
So I think it's really important. Something that I've come to know more recently is to remind myself, whether it's Samara or our daughter, that no matter how they appear, they too are struggling with this tremendous, tremendous loss or losses, and not expecting that what we see is really actually what they feel.
Mm-hmm. So letting go of expectations, I feel like I've also been letting go of, emotional responsibility of owning what's mine versus those around me. Um, that's a hard one because I want to love on my family, and if they're hurting, I want to do everything I can to help support them. But really, I can't fix their pain. I can't make this tragedy go away for Neal and for our daughter and for our other family and loved ones. I can just show up and be present. I can work on my own emotions, so understanding what's mine versus what's theirs. So letting go of emotional responsibility of others is huge.
Parentheses, boundaries. Tough,
Mm-hmm.
especially, you experience this trauma, this loss, and initially you got all to do to get up and show up for one another, and you're just being there for each other. And early on, you're enmeshed in a really sort of life-saving, important way, energetic way. But as time passes and it's time to carry, not we're never going to get over this, but carry it in a different way and live forward. You know, unmeshing, if you will, really comes down to boundaries, and yeah, important part of it all.
So letting go isn't about giving up. It's just about letting go of what wasn't ours to carry from the beginning.
So, what are some other lessons from season one, right? From our guests, our experts, the teen voices. One thing that really struck me is letting go of doing it all alone. The power of community. We're blessed to have it in spades. I mean, we are so blessed by our North County community here. that have come to us and continued to lift us 18 months later. Our family, it's just extraordinary. Family have come out of the woodwork. We have new relationships with cousins and families that we didn't have before because of this. But what we've also come to learn too is so many who have experienced loss aren't blessed with the community that we are, and they're hurting. And so if you have love and community to give, please keep giving it. And if you're suffering alone, please reach out, because there's a breadth of community that don't know you that want to help you.
Yeah. Also, letting go of the expectation to bounce back. I'm never going to be who I was before this event, this life changing circumstance. Our son dying by suicide has affected us in such a profound and impactful way. Um, so letting go of this notion that I'm going to bounce back to who I was, I will never be the same again. Um, and even just emotional regulation, I have felt like I don't want to be here either. And I didn't ever feel that way before. So facing my own suicidality and reaching out for help and getting medication and being open to that, um, it it's it's important that I let go of any predefined notion of what healing or success or just maintenance looks like. It's different at different phases, and there are life challenges, and just being open to, one day at a time.
Such a powerful mantra. And if needed, 1 hour at a time, 1 minute at a time, there really is no bouncing back. Oh, this was a biggie. Letting go of needing the right words. And the teens showed us this. It's not so much what we say as how we be, right? How we show up for them. So what we say and do means and has less impact than how we be, and the space that we create, just being present, right? That calm, connected presence, creating that space. What they've said to us time and time again is, don't fix us. Please help us with this space, create this space. And imperfect presence, if you will. And that's been a big lesson for me coming out of season one, one that they've demonstrated to us, time and time again.
Absolutely. Letting go of strength means not feeling. So I think the notion of, I have gone through this experience and um, it's going to take me out versus I've gone through this and I'm empowered and strengthened by it is um, it's something that I didn't expect. And I've been really grateful for the strength that I have found through it. And just, I guess the teens have shared this, and I've also experienced this just in other interactions of being vulnerable allows, the opportunities and the strengths for, and the opportunities for growth and the strength that comes through vulnerability. Letting go of vulnerability being seen as a weakness and observing it as a strength.
I can relate to that big time, especially being a man. The common belief is to muscle through, to power through, and being knocked down in the way we were, and having my heart cracked wide open. All I could be was vulnerable, and I was blessed to find in that was the true strength, that men showed up in ways that were really supportive and helpful and masculine, and yeah, grateful for that. And letting go of who we were before. We touched on this a little bit with bouncing back, but I just got to share, this is a biggie for me. I mean, literally, people talk about life can change in an instant. I mean, our life changed forever the moment we got that call, and it'll never be the same, obviously. But every single relationship was changed. Our marriage, our relationship with our daughter, our relationship with our family, our relationship with our friends. I mean, I am so grateful my friends still treat me the same way. But to suggest that even that relationship hasn't changed would be, inaccurate. And so it's kind of really understanding that that while every single relationship will be altered, um, that it's I guess what I'm finding is, especially, it's taken some time, so I feel like I'm in the beginning of it, but that my identity is being reshaped. Yeah, I mean, just how do I fit in? Where do I fit in? Parenting an only child, now being in a house of only women, between Samara and Belina and Kiwi, and it's like, oh, I just so badly wish it could be like it was before, but it won't be. And so it's like being born again, not in a Christian way, but being born again into a life that looks familiar but feels in no way familiar, and trying to find your way through that. So I think it's that grace, it's that communication and understanding. As a 51-year-old, I'm starting from scratch, trying to figure out what my new identity is, and instead of being afraid of it in recent days and weeks, I'm finding myself like, wow, it's a blank slate of sorts, and I can create what I want within these relationships that I'm so committed to.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, the Chinese New Year, it's shedding the snake, and
Oh,
then the power of the horse comes in. So we're shedding our old skins and letting go of who we were before. For me, a huge one too has been letting go of the need to fix everything, which I kind of talked
hmm,
about a little bit before. But just to touch on that again, it's really just holding space for those around me, for myself and for others. Not trying to fix, not trying to solve, not trying to repair. That comes through presence and then allowing the grace and space for those around you to heal themselves.
yeah. And sometimes I like when you ask me, and it's some version of, do you need presence or do you need help? And just sometimes, like, just that question sets like, oh, um, you know what? I just need to be heard this time. Thank you. Other times it's like, yeah, you know what? I'm really struggling with this. I welcome any advice you have. And it's that question is vastly different than coming in with the fix. So those are some good ones for sure. And then letting go of, gosh, I still need so much support. I mean, you know, early on we were blessed with so much support, both from people we knew and so many of you that we didn't know that have came and given of your gifts, whether that's Jasenia, and all the spiritual work we've done in the last 11 months, or any of you that have offered and done any pro bono work with us. And, you know, even though it's like 18 months later, I feel like, okay, like that was helpful for surviving this, but now I still need a lot of help understanding how I live with this. So I'm grateful for those that have stood by me and continuously poured themselves into me, and for new relationships that I'm making and new things that I'm exploring, both in healing from trauma and exploring, new methods and modalities to create the life that I'd like to moving forward. So I think, yeah, letting go of like that there's some end to all of this. It's just a growth and a changing of where help is needed.
Yeah. And I found like we still we still need so much support.
Yeah.
We absolutely do, and it's different. It's almost like in the beginning we had like this adrenaline pumping because
Mhm.
it was so new. And so we were in that fight or flight survival mode. We're still there, but it's a new phase of it. And so the it's like the dust is settling a little bit, and here we are, still parents, bereaved parents, still parents of a son that has died. And, it's a different phase. It's not as new. And so maybe it's not as top of mind for everyone around us. But I think you can agree there's not a day, probably not even an hour or maybe even a 15-minute period that goes by where we're not thinking about him. And so it's still very fresh and raw and real for us. And so, yeah, letting go of that timeline or, any sort of expectation about, what healing looks like.
Yeah. And it reminds me too, it makes me giggle sometimes. I say it to myself, but I feel like the tide has gone out and my shorts are down. I'm like a baby in my birthday suit, especially doing this live for however many of you are watching and experiencing this in real time. But in that space and in that vulnerability, it just creates the possibility for all this growth and connection.
Yeah. And if we look back on season one and all the stories that were shared and the guests that we had, I mean, what I really saw was like the healing begins when we stop pretending to be
Mhm.
something that we're not, and when we just acknowledge the pain and the reality of this life that we're in, and embrace the connections and the people that have come forth. It's that's where the beauty lies.
Yeah, the word that comes to mind, and we're so grateful for all of our guests, is authenticity. They
Mhm.
showed us what it really means to be authentic and raw and real.
So, a tangible practice that we can bring into our lives, where we can release with compassion, let go with compassion, would just be a simple 4-step practice. The first one being name it, like name one thing that you've been holding on to, name something that you're struggling with, normalize it. Anyone carrying that weight would feel this way. Acknowledge that it's okay, it's valid. These feelings that you have, that we have, are valid. And then release it gently. And being gentle with yourself, we can practice loving kindness first with ourselves, starting with the breath. You can place your hand on your heart. If you're in a safe place, you can close your eyes. Obviously, if you're driving, keep your eyes open. But you can continue to focus within by deepening your breath. Notice the sensations as the air moves through your nostrils. And as you release, just hugging your belly button in toward your spine. You can deepen your exhale at your next breath, just lengthening, just loving yourself, practicing gentleness with these very valid feelings. And as we're stepping into our new year, just acknowledging one thing that you're ready to let go of, something you're ready to put aside, send back to last year. You can remove your hand from your heart, open your eyes.
Yeah, as I say, I think that's so powerful. Like letting go isn't letting go of the story, it's letting go of carrying the burden of the story. The
Mm-hmm.
story is true, maybe true for you, it's true for us, but it's letting go of that weight, that heaviness, the burden of the story.
Yeah. So any anything that you have, I invite you to journal. If it helps to, send an email and let us know, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear about anything that you're carrying that you're ready to let go of.
Yeah. And if you need some prompts, I've got 3 questions that come to mind. What am I ready to stop carrying alone? Number 2 is, what truth am I finally willing to acknowledge, even if it scares me? And that's the key there. If it scares you, that's likely the truth that you should consider letting go of. And number 3 is, what weight have I held this year that I can gently set down?
And then in acknowledging what you're ready to let go of, it's presenting that to someone that you trust, bringing it out of the darkness, whether it's something that you feel shame or pain around. Sharing it with someone that you trust allows it to transform, and you're not going to them for advice, but just so you don't have to hold on to it alone anymore. We're not here to be alone. We're here for community, letting go of that isolated feeling, knowing that we all have struggles, we all have pain, challenges, traumas. And when we can reach out to each other, we can find a safe space to be held and to know that we can let it go by sharing it and acknowledging it with someone else. So thank you for being here, for feeling with us, for your courage, and just remember that you don't have to carry everything alone.
Yeah. Big thank you to Patrick here behind the cameras, and for teaching Anna, our teen here, who's learning how all this works, and for Kiwi for keeping us protected, and Nicolette for being our producer, and Ari and Jose at Motion Farm. You see us here and we have the experience, but it's these folks who are helping us bring it to life, bring it to you. We're so grateful for you. Next episode, we're being exploring, what do we want to carry forward? How can we build even more resilience, even more connection? So we look forward to seeing you next week for episode 3 of 4 of this mini series. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to The Endurance Show. If this conversation moved you, please follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. To view the conversations, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And to be a part of the community, follow us at Endurance Movement. And lastly, if you feel called to support the movement and help us ensure no teen ever feels alone again, visit endurancemovement.org to learn more, and if you can, make a donation. Together we can create lasting change, one conversation, one connection at a time.